Hi everyone, Michelle here from michellesmidheaven.com. The new lunar month starts with a new moon in Cancer, the moon in her own home, her domicile as we call it. And that means we're focusing on the moon, all the lunar significations, such as our environment, our physical body, and all the emotions the body is feeling and often holding on to, and also other people's emotions and their energy that we pick up and absorb, the continuously changing atmosphere. The moon, of course, also represents our home and family, and the moon really constitutes the foundation of our existence in this physical reality, literally and metaphorically. So I really think that it's such a perfect time to pay extra attention to your environment in the broadest sense of the word. And this is for the entire lunar month that lasts until the next new moon, which will be the solar eclipse on August 12th. You can ask yourself, what am I absorbing every day? Because you're not entirely locked up inside your body, just as your skin has pores, just as you breathe in air. We're all constantly taking in the atmosphere around us, absorbing the mood of a place, the energy of people we meet and live with, and so on. It's kind of hard to explain this, but I think most of us, including me, underestimate the symbolism and the impact of the most ordinary things in our environment. Whether you have a backyard full of flowers or there is an old shed that's falling apart, it all has an influence, a bigger influence than you might imagine. So, from the innocent looking clutter on the table to the noise your neighbors are making, it all has an impact that actively changes the way we feel. When you think about it, how powerful is that? Cancer is a very, very receptive sign, and the moon continuously reflects things back to us. So, during a Cancerian lunar month, your inner radar is a little stronger, you could say. Everything that's happening around you is signaling or describing something, and now we're sensitive enough to really grasp it and know that it's not random. It's not just about random things that are happening in our environments, it's reflecting something. Your environment reflects something about you, and vice versa. It's very simple. If your living space is cluttered, it means there's often some kind of inner clutter too. This is why cleaning, clearing, and rearranging things can have a profound emotional effect. And you don't have to think of it too much. It's hard to explain precisely because it's so simple. When something is very simple, we usually miss the essence completely. So, what I'm trying to say is that it's simply the act of cleaning your environment, the activity, the movement itself that is making changes. Physical, biological, mental, psychological changes. That's it. It's obvious, it's symbolically sound, it's logical, and yet most people completely underestimate its importance. So if you clear even as little as one shelf, or you wash your bedding, you're doing something for your inner well-being. Each change that you make in your environment is sending a message to your nervous system. It's saying, okay, we're taking care of things right now. But it's not only a message, or it's not only a trick to facilitate positive change, right? It goes way beyond that. It's magic, true magic, not metaphorically. It's basic magic. So without, so within. You're not separated from your environment. And the moon works very directly through the body. Of course, all planets have a relationship with the body in some way, but it's all under the moon's umbrella, so to speak. The moon gives physical shape to everything. So, why am I talking about cleaning so much? Because at the start of this lunar month, embedded in the symbolism of the entire lunar month, Venus is in Virgo, close to the South Node. And Venus in Virgo wants to purify and organize, improve, and bring harmony through small but efficient practical actions. She may not feel completely relaxed there. Venus is in her fall in Virgo, but she is very good at noticing what is out of balance. So much so that she's extra critical, and that goes against Venus's nature. Venus is not critical at all. She's exalted in Pisces, where everything goes, and Venus is sympathetic, harmonizing, unifying, undemanding, and easygoing when she is in a place, an environment that agrees with her nature. Virgo is not Venus's favorite place, so she'll have to be creative and make an effort to adapt. Now, traditionally, Venus is also known as the goddess of purification. And here, with the South Node involved, this is excellent symbolism, I think, for a deeper cleanse, right? And now that Venus is also more critical in Mercury's Virgo, noticing things she would usually brush over, the time is ideal for sorting through your drawers, getting rid of any stuff that you no longer like or need, and you can treat it as an experiment. Do it with as much awareness as possible. Just clean or rearrange one thing, stay very focused and attentive, and then notice how your body responds. Subtle shifts. Or wear one particular color for a couple of days and see how that affects you. Or take a photo of your living room and use an app to change the colors of the walls or something and imagine how different that would feel. Stuff like that. Just have fun with it. Well, I say fun, but Venus is also under a lot of pressure from Mars. At the end of July, on July 28th, Venus is going to perfect her square to Mars, just after Saturn stations retrograde, by the way. But during the entire transit through Virgo, Venus is going to experience that pressure from Mars, Mars's whole sign square, because he's in the superior position, and a superior square is always very powerful. Mars is demanding a lot from Venus, which means that Venus is being pushed to take action. And there's quite a bit of mental activity in the chart, and Mars can make things feel busy, restless, and very urgent. So the trick is to then channel that energy into something useful. Otherwise, it might just turn into, nervous movement, overthinking, picking at details, or staying busy without actually doing anything that helps. You might experience vivid dreams, maybe a little more anxiety than usual, feeling a little jumpy, or maybe also a feeling that your body needs to move. And if that happens, offer that energy a place to go. So, exercise is always great. It gives Mars the attention he needs. And of course, cleaning is also great. But if you're like me and you hate cleaning, by all means, think of something fun to do, right? Maybe you like to cook, maybe you like to dance. That's all wonderful too. With Venus in her fall and under pressure, one thing that may come up is that some of your disappointments or your dissatisfaction in relationships becomes a lot harder to hide. If there is already a rough patch there, you may feel a stronger urge to speak up. And when you do that, it can come out as criticism, harsh criticism. You'll notice that maybe some other people too are going to focus on irritations. They're focusing on annoyances that don't look like they're a big deal, but all of a sudden they become a big deal. You can't stop thinking about it. And those details that we're now obsessing over only happen to be the tiny cracks in the maze of underlying trouble. For example, maybe the real issue is that you feel you're not getting enough support, let's say from your partner. But then what comes out is, and I'm exaggerating here just to make a point, but it could be somewhere along the lines of, okay, if I keep finding your socks on the floor everywhere, we're going to have a divorce, Or suddenly someone's tone becomes unbearable and you want to explode. The details are not always irrelevant, but they function like a conduit through which a much larger emotional charge is finding expression. That's the idea here. So instead of then dealing with those details, it might be worth examining if there's another issue underneath whatever someone's complaining about. And you can do that for yourself as well. Just pause and ask, okay, what am I actually upset about? Before you launch into your list of everything that annoys you. It might make our conversations a little bit cleaner, a little bit more grounded this month. Otherwise, people may be confused, right? And they might think, why are you suddenly so upset about this tiny thing when that tiny thing is just a doorway into a much bigger issue? So, depending on your chart, this can apply to more than just social interactions and relationships. It might show up at work in the sense that, it's in the way you go about doing things, in your health routines, in your relationship with your body, certainly in this Cancer lunar month. Venus's way of creating harmony in Virgo is through improvement. And in a work context, for example, it could be simply about noticing what is stressing everybody out. And then Mars is going to want to come up with efficient and sometimes extreme solutions. In a health context, it might mean noticing how digestion, stress, and emotional processing are all connected. Virgo has a lot to do with digestion. And symbolically, digestion is not just about food, it's also about how we process experiences and conversations or disappointments and things from the past with the South Node there. And Mars is pressuring Venus mainly because Mars is impatient and wants Venus to help him solve his problems. Both Mars and Venus are ruled by Mercury here, so they have to work together. And Mercury is retrograde. So, yep, that can bring some chaos into our life. But chaos is also the thing that sort of shakes us out of our habits or reflexes, right? Our automatic responses. It can help us see something from a different angle. Retrograde planets offer room to look at things more creatively, to approach problems with more ingenuity, choosing more unusual solutions oftentimes. And because Mars and Venus are both nocturnal, practical planets in Mercury signs, this is a great time to experiment. Don't overthink it, just try things. And since this is a Cancerian lunar month, why not focus on our immediate environment? And it doesn't matter whether you're dealing with issues at work or in your marriage or if it concerns your health. Again, this is a Cancerian month. It's always easier to use the tools we're being offered by the moon. So why not try focusing on making changes in your environment? Because this month, the moon is supporting us, helping us discover how much impact we can have on our well being, whatever is going on, by simply changing our environment. So go ahead and move the furniture around, rearrange your desk, rearrange the kitchen cabinet, plant flowers in the yard, or paint the wall in a different color. Make that small interior design idea happen. It doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to cost too much effort or money. To me, this is actually magic. It's as if what you're doing there, has nothing to do with the important situation at hand, it seems. I mean, there's trouble at work, but here you are moving the couch to the other side of the room. Well, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is where true magic lies, though. The changes you make out there in the physical world are changes that are also happening within. And that in turn is going to impact your environment. There's a reflection, a feedback loop. That's what the moon is all about. You're performing a ritual. There's tremendous power behind it. The point is also to show the cosmos that you are participating in change. You're not just waiting for your mood to improve, you are changing the conditions around you so that a new mood becomes possible. You're creating a new emotional landscape. That is very Cancer, very Moon, very Mercury retrograde as well. Inner and outer worlds speaking to each other, as within, so without. Now, Jupiter also plays an important role in this new moon chart. First of all, Jupiter is the exaltation ruler of Cancer, and in the new moon chart, Jupiter is the first planet the moon connects with after conjoining the sun. That first aspect matters because it sets a kind of tone for the entire lunar month. So Jupiter's agenda is coming more to the foreground this month, which I already talked about in another video. But basically, Jupiter is raising the bar. He has high hopes for us, high aspirations. He's reaching for something more meaningful to do. And this is the month that Jupiter will connect with Uranus by sextile, Neptune by trine, and Pluto by opposition. Since Uranus is the only modern planet that's not retrograde at the moment, Jupiter's aspect to Uranus may be the most noticeable one, even though it's just a sextile. And again, I spoke about Jupiter Uranus a lot in my other video, so I won't repeat all of that. But well, I'm probably the only astrologer who's not making such a big deal out of the Jupiter-Pluto opposition. And to be honest, maybe that's simply avoidance on my part because this aspect is going to show up in my solar return chart. So maybe I'll regret minimizing this transit, and I guess I'll find out. But what I can say is that to me, the Jupiter Pluto opposition looks like a very hungry aspect. I kind of like it because I like a decent amount of intensity, but I get why this might not be pleasant for everyone. It is a never enough aspect. We're burning for more, much more. We want it all in our possession. This is a great aspect for willpower. My willpower versus your willpower. I am in control of my life and I won't comply with you. You don't have any power over me. That's the vibe of the Jupiter in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius situation. So, okay, we can see how that could get us into trouble. And for oppositions, there can be no compromises. We're not going to be able to resolve the issue if an issue comes up. And usually, when Jupiter is opposing a planet, things tend to go way too far. Something's going to be way out of line, completely exaggerated, beyond the point of no return. Things escalate and maybe even create a chain reaction. So if you already have something going on in your life on that Leo Aquarius axis in your natal chart, things could be coming to a head here, or it's already setting something in motion that will then accelerate around next month's solar eclipse in Leo. On a mundane level, we can also think of something surfacing concerning Jupiterian figures, such as teachers or religious role models going through a rough patch, or another situation or scandal concerning the powers that be, new power grabs, etc. But you know what? They're so common now. It's kind of like they're the norm, right? But again, I also want to nuance this as Pluto is retrograde and nowhere near his stationing phase. So Pluto is not nearly as intense as he could have been. All right, those were some of my thoughts on this new lunar month. That's basically an invitation to notice how you can support yourself by shaping your environment in a deliberate way. My books are open for readings at michellesmidheaven.com, and I'm curious to hear how you are all doing. So please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. It really helps. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.